Hey y'all, it's so great to see you. My name is Maria Kim, and I have the honor of serving as president and CEO of Cara. And today we've got a little La Mama update for you. So, just as a refresher, La Mama is our framework that governs our return to campus strategy. It stands for legally allowable, medically advisable, mission advanceable. So, think of it as just a way in which we make sure that the methods that we use to return our staff, our participants, our community back on campus are smart on all three fronts. In fact, just last week, we entered into what we'll call the appointment only phase. If you remember, this is the phase where participants are invited to come back on site for discrete appointments. Think things like maybe access to technology, which is really needed right now, or access to transit support that they may need. Or even last week, we had a group of Cara Connects participants on site to do their paperwork for a new assignment they were about to go out on. It was pretty cool to see everybody together on campus. But here's the thing that I want to leave you with. You don't need to be physically proximate to create community. Like together over the last few months, we have created meaningful virtual connection. And even when I say that word, I feel a little silly because virtual on its face makes it seem like it's not real or it's simulated or it's non authentic. And you know what? I don't know if any of those things are true, particularly because of all of the things I've seen with our participants, our colleagues, our community coming together in new and interesting ways. We create community together. And there are two ways in which we would love for you to join our growing community, especially in this time. One is online motivations, and the other is our upcoming summer social. So, for online motivations, maybe what I should do is pull up and tell those of you that might not be familiar with this exercise what it actually is. So, motivations is this daily ritual we would do on our campuses at Cara, right? It's a beautiful event where people kind of gather into this room. We call it the Great Room. We call it the Great Room because great things happen in it. And we all gather together in these concentric circles, and there is this topic of the day, a question of the day, like, who or what gives you great joy and why? And what happens is people get tagged to run into the middle of the circle. They'll say who they are to the community and they'll answer this question, hopefully in a way that's deep and disclosing and maybe gets a little bit at the deeper truth of who you are, maybe connects you to me and me to you in a way that I didn't imagine before. And together, over 30 minutes time, we create a strong and bonded community. And at the end of their storytelling, they punctuate it with a song. And everybody's singing and clapping and doing all the things. It's just how we rev up for the morning, how we get started for the day. As we flip this exercise to online, a couple things may look different. But my hope is that the feeling is still the same. The good juju that you feel when you're in community with so many different people, sharing stories and sharing songs and strength all together. What it's going to look like is this. We'll gather together in a room, but in this case, it'll be a Zoom room, right? There'll be a leader that's facilitating the exercise just so people know how to navigate. We'll likely start with a tech tutorial, probably to make sure everybody knows, how to navigate through this space and place. And people will be tagged at random or selected at random to kind of take the mic, to come in to the room and share their story in response to the question of the day. And at the end of their story, they're going to sing a song on key or off key, you do you. And all of us, we're going to be singing and clapping just as we normally do, getting revved up and getting motivated for the day. At the end of that exercise, we're going to conclude with some norms as we would in our regular motivations. And that might be announcements, like somebody might have just gotten a job, and we're going to ring that bell in enthusiasm for that major milestone. Or maybe some folks have interviews that week, and we're going to pump them up and root for them and get them excited for that opportunity that's coming up. We're going to do all of these things together and create community as a group. Stay tuned on our email and also through social media to learn more about how you can tag in to our online motivations. And speaking of joining in, we'd love it if you would join us for our first ever virtual summer social. It's brought to us by our associate board and presented by Advanced Group slalom, and the BB family. It's on Thursday, August 27th, and it's going to be friggin' amazing. I mean, there's food and cocktail demonstrations, there's music, there's entertainment, there's raffles and a silent auction, and lots of special guests. We want you to RSVP to this event, though. Even though it's free, y'all, we need you to tag in and RSVP in order to make sure you get an exclusive link to the event and tips and tricks on how to make it the best virtual experience from your very own living room. Hit us up at carachicago.org/social to RSVP. And here's the thing, once you're part of this event experience, guess what? Every gift that you choose to make after you hear these great stories and all these great things, every gift that you choose to make up to the first $25,000 of gifts will be matched dollar for dollar based on a super generous contribution by Creation Investments. Oh, wait. And because this event is virtual, you don't even have to wait until Thursday, August 27th to give us your gift. If you are so moved right now, go ahead and give it to us. And the nice folks at Creation Investments will match that gift dollar for dollar up to the first $25,000. Again, hit us up, carachicago.org/social to learn more and to RSVP. I'll close by saying this. Last week, we did a bit of kind of a dress rehearsal for the online motivations, right? We had a handful of colleagues come together and go through all of the steps of that process. And as soon as I walked into that room, that virtual Zoom room, I started tearing up. And I didn't even know why. And I think part of it was because it's like I see my colleagues frequently, but to see them in the context of this ritual for which I have great feelings and great memory, it just got me choked up before we even said our first hellos, you know? And that day, our practice question was again, who or what gives you great joy and why? And there was one woman who went into the middle of the circle whose response still lingers with me today. She said, uh, the thing that brings me great joy is the power of a plan B. And I thought, huh. And she said, we go through our lives with all of this like grandiose intention. We dream about all the things we're going to do. We have precision and execution, and we hard charge, and we go for these goals, and we have our big fat plan A's. And then life just throws us a curveball sometimes, And when that happens, there's an opportunity in the space of a plan B to not just find joy, but maybe to create it. And that was her question and her invitation for all of us. And so I think to myself, maybe for 2020, if this isn't the year that we had collectively planned for, which I know that it's not, could we co-create the year that we had hoped for? A year of greater inclusion, a year of greater vibrancy, a year of greater togetherness so that we can build a brighter community for all? I sure hope so. And that's what we're hoping to create through both the online motivations experiences and through this community we're going to cultivate through our summer social. We sure hope you join us. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.